Hey guys, thank you so much for stopping by the garden today. We're going to go over a little video on my large red cherry tomatoes because they're starting to come into flowering, and I just wanted to discuss some things that I do at this stage. And one of the things I love to do during flowering stage is put earthworm castings inside my container. They're really rich and they're really organic, and it can really benefit from this at this stage. You can see how black it is. It's so nice and rich. I love the way earthworm castings feel, and it's just worm poop, natural from the ground, so it's nice and organic, which I really like to stay with. I like to try to garden as much organically as I can, but I do use my Dynagrow grow system because it's a really light nutrient system and it works really well for a lot of my plants. It's a 795 and it's water soluble, and I treated maybe once or twice throughout its whole growing cycle right now. This one is probably about 60 days old, and so is this one back here. And then those two I have in the 5-gallon bucket separated. They're probably about, I'd say maybe 4 weeks old, 5 weeks old. So they're not flowering yet, but these big ones are definitely starting to flower, and this one is too. So I like to go ahead and add earthworm castings inside my containers and then switch to my Dynagrow bloom system, which is a 3-8-16 compared to the 795. You want to try to drop that nitrogen out at the blooming stage, and then you want to try to give more phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, cobalt, all that good stuff for your plant. It really benefits from a lot of potassium and phosphate at this point in the blooming stage. But at the beginning stages, like when you first plant that seed in the ground to now, I only fed about once or twice as needed. So I only fed, like if I noticed my plant was getting a little dull looking or it was struggling, it wasn't really growing too much, I went ahead and fed it with my Dynagrow grow system, which is the 795 at a 1/4 teaspoon per gallon of water. And then I watered the soil, and I sprayed the foliage once throughout its whole growing cycle. So up until this point, that's all I did. I just made sure that I planted in a really rich organic soil. You want a really rich organic soil for tomatoes and vegetables because they really benefit from that. And then you won't have to give too much supplemental nutrients like chemical wise, because my Dynagrow is not organic, but you know, it's only a little bit of nutrients that I'm giving it throughout its whole growing period, so I know it's not going to hurt me, and it's not going to put harmful chemicals inside my plant either. So at this stage, I just really like to put a couple earthworm castings. You can just go ahead and recycle any little potting cup you have. I just recycled this little pot I got from my succulents, and you want to go ahead and just sprinkle the top few layers. So you want to put a whole cup in there, and then you want to work it in the top 3 to 4 inches of soil. You want to try not to disturb the roots too much though, because these roots really spread out good, and you don't want to be damaging any of the roots inside your tomato plant pot. So try not to damage them, just go around the sides and work it in. And then I usually water in my earthworm castings because it kind of makes like a tea out of it. If you guys have ever heard of like earthworm tea, I haven't made it yet, but I'm gonna go try. We're gonna attempt this. I seen Callie Kim and a couple other people did it with their earthworm castings, so we're gonna go ahead and try to do that. But it just kind of activates the earthworm castings. I feel like it puts water in there, so this way the plant can actually suck it up. Because think about it, if it's dry, if the earthworm castings are dry along with the soil, your plant can't really suck anything up. So I like to water it in just a little bit. And we got to water this anyway, so we're going to water all the way through till it drains out just a little bit, and then we know we're good to go. We can stop after about 5 seconds of the water coming out. You try not to water too much with your containers because it just washes it out, and all the nutrients you're working so hard to put in ends up washing out of your container. And that's kind of why I haven't really fed too much. The rain's been actually helping me out with natural nutrients. Mother Nature herself, you know, she's been keeping my garden really healthy with the rain, so that's kind of why I haven't really had to give nutrients. I gave it a really nice potting soil to grow in, and any potting soil is good. For a big container like this, I usually, now I can put like half garden soil in this big container and half potting soil, because garden soil outside is a lot better in containers, especially tiny containers like this, because it's going to suck up a lot of water and it's going to use up a lot of water. So you're going to have to water a lot more in this container with just potting soil than I would in this container with half garden soil, half potting soil. Garden soil is a little more muddier and thicker than potting soil, and it doesn't have as much perlite in it, but it's really rich and organic, and it works really well in containers in conjunction with potting soil. You always want a little bit of potting soil in there, so it's not too muddy and you're not getting fungus and fungus gnats and mold and all kinds of bad stuff like that. So well draining soil, but but it can be half potting soil, half garden soil. And if you guys need any help on growing these, they just need full sun. They're under my shade cloth because we get really excessive heat here in Florida, along with 80% humidity, which what we have right now. I'm sweating out here, and it's only 9 o'clock in the morning and the humidity's up at 85%, and temps are like reaching 90, 93 during the day, mid-afternoon. So it gets really hot here, and I have to use this little shade cloth right in back of me for all my plants because it really helps to keep them healthy. You can see that shade cloth up there, and I have a lot of plants underneath it, and it just really works to help keep my garden healthy and not to sunburn my plants. It brings that temperature way down under there. I can chill under there and work on my garden instead of being out here and being so hot. Imagine what your plants feel like out here. So try to protect them if you're in a really humid, hot climate, tropical climate like we are here in Florida. Central Florida, Zone 9B. It can be really tough to grow this time of year, but if you guys need any help on anything that I've discussed here today, or any help in general, things that I haven't covered yet on these, just let me know. We'll have a lot more updates to come for you guys. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys next time out in the garden. Bye-bye.